Down there that just put theirs in the dryer.
Here we go.
Hello.
That's a great way to start it off, Sam. Just look completely shocked that we're live.
Hey man, you gotta keep it interesting, right?
Yes, but you look not just shocked, but like you were about to murder somebody.
I'm about to murder my Domino's app because I cannot remember what the hell my password is.
Ooh, it's a government conspiracy.
It is. Speaking of conspiracies, it's a great segue into today's episode.
Yeah. I was thinking.
So, again, just as a disclaimer, we are not supporting these theories. We may or may not believe them. We are just giving you the facts that we are able to find, and you, as the viewer, are to make up your own decision, your own conclusion as to if you believe these things or not. We may touch on if we believe them or not. We may not. But, so the first one we're going to start with today is one that Rusty had never heard of. It's called the Betz Mystery Sphere. So, back in 1974, on March 27th, in Fort George Island, Florida, the Betz family, Antoine, his wife Jerry, and their son Terry, had a small brush fire near their home. They went to investigate it to make sure everything was, good and wasn't going to happen again. And they found a metal sphere, the size of like a cannonball. It's about 8 inches in diameter and about 22 pounds. And we have the picture of that one. You want to throw that up there real quick, Rusty?
Yeah, I suppose I can.
No, all right.
Oh, oops. I could show a video file. And I'm locked up. Oh, there we go. Pictures.
Technical difficulties. Yay.
Yeah, you know how it goes. You know what? They're not showing. I will do it this way. I have it on my Discord. I have it on my Discord when my Discord opens. Anyway, keep going and I'll bring it up when I can.
So this ball was perfectly round, perfectly smooth, nice and shiny. At first, I thought maybe it was a cannonball that was left by the conquistadors. Yes, that. There's one small triangular shape on it, which I believe is the one that you can see like right in the middle there. But other than that, it's smooth and clean. So they originally, like I said, thought it was conquistadors, but the cannonballs from that time period would have been made of a crude iron or steel, or even stone. So they would not have been perfectly smooth and shiny like that. Plus, if it had been fired out of a cannon, it should have had some blemishes on it. So the family just, on a whim, decided to take it home, because that's what you do when you find random metal balls in the middle of the field. A few days later, the son Terry had a friend over, and he was playing his guitar, just, messing around, when he noticed that the sphere seemed to react to the music from the guitar, certain notes that he was playing. It started to produce a humming noise, almost sound like something throbbing. He said it began to move on its own. It would roll one way, stop, and roll the other direction. The family states that it would follow them around the house, from room to room, just kind of rolling around behind them. So Terry did some experiments. He found that it made noise when struck by a hammer, which seems kind of obvious to me. It's a metal ball.
Most metal is going to make some sort of noise.
Yeah, but apparently he thought that was noteworthy. And he would take it and he would shake it, place it on the floor, and it would start rolling by itself. They found that if one person would, put it on the floor and push it, it would roll away from them for a few feet and then stop and come back. If they did it on a table, it would roll away from them to the edge of the table. It would never fall off the table and roll right back and stop where it had been. So they were convinced that it was an alien artifact. After a while, they decided this was kind of creepy and put it in a trunk to store it and would only pull it out to show friends and family. Eventually, it's, small town in the 70s, rumor wheel and all that. So everybody found out about it. And they decided to have it investigated. So they sent it to a research firm in Baton Rouge, or the expert came to them. I can't really find any clear answer as to if it was sent out or they were brought to them. But he claims to have found radio waves coming from the sphere, as well as the sphere was surrounded by a magnetic field. It had magnetic poles on it. Now, for anybody that's familiar with how our Earth works, our Earth also has magnetic poles. It has a magnetic field around it. So this expert from Baton Rouge thought, okay, maybe this is like a miniature version of this alien's home planet. So after that, the rumors kept spreading. The Betz family had it in their home still, and Jerry Betz noticed that her dog would go near it and immediately start whimpering and covering her ears with her paws. So they're like, okay, what if this thing's radioactive? What if this thing's an explosive and she's reacting to that? So they contacted the nearby Navy fort. So the U.S. Navy did some digging into this. They did some X-rays on it. The first attempts to do X-rays failed. The representative from the Navy claims that it was because the machine they tried to use was not powerful enough to get through the steel. Okay, it's 1974. They don't have the most advanced stuff on some random Navy base. So they got another machine in and did 2 more X-rays to it. Now, this is where things get a little weird and a little bit hazy as to what they found. According to a newspaper article from April 15th, 1974, in the St. Petersburg Times, the Navy representative claims that the second round of X-rays found that the sphere is hollow, about 1.5 inches thick for the shell of it, which is made of high grade steel, but very much so from Earth, and it has tiny beads of residue from the manufacturing process. And those are rolling around inside it, which is what's making the noise and what's making it seem to move on its own. He said, due to the fact that the ball is perfectly symmetrical and round with no blemishes on it, any kind of even slight indentation in the platform it's sitting on will cause it to seem to roll around and even change direction. He claims that because of the age of the Betz home and the uneven stone floors, this is what was causing it to roll around. So the Betz did not agree with this assessment. They sent it off to an astronomer and renowned ufologist, which I did not know was a thing, but apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, yes.
By the name of J. Allen Hynek, who did some experiments. I could not find anything as to what he did to experiment on this thing, what he was analyzing. The only thing I can find is that he agreed with the U.S. Navy that it was man-made. Nobody was sure where it came from. There is a manufacturing company that made camera lenses and such. They also made at one point check valves. If you want to throw those pictures up there real quick, Dusty.
Yep.
So the dimensions of this sphere are almost exactly the same as the dimensions for the ball for the check valves that this company made. The owner of the company has stated on record that even though this ball, so as you can see the little blue dots there, in a vertical check valve, he said the specs for those are 8 inches in diameter, and they are roughly 21 pounds. Now the sphere was 22 pounds, so a little heavier, but still the same diameter. He then goes on record to say he has never seen this. Never seen the sphere. It just matches the specs for the check valves that they created. So that was very interesting. Yeah, and here's the horizontal one. So the red ball there. So basically the idea of these check valves is they allow a liquid to flow one way through this valve and not the other way, which is why they need to be perfectly smooth. Otherwise, they are going to allow liquid to flow through when they're not supposed to. So that was the running theory for a while, and it still is. That's still the general consensus from those who do not believe this theory, this conspiracy theory. In 2012, a podcast entitled Skeptoid did an episode on this sphere. He showed basically some of the same images that we were just showing that it's a check valve. He referenced the dimensions. From what I can find, he did not reference the fact that the owner of the company straight up said, "I have never seen this thing before." He also notes that there was a sculpture artist by the name of James Dunling Jones from New Mexico, who said that back in 1970, 1971, he had been collecting scrap for a sculpture, including many of these spherical balls. He put them on the roof rack of his VW bus and was driving home. He said around Easter of 1971, he was passing through the Jacksonville area when a few of these balls rolled off the top of his bus and were lost. So theory is that's where they came from. That's how it ended up in their yard, was just happened to roll off while passing by. The interesting things that I find about this. So first of all, pretty much all the supporting evidence that this thing is man-made and has nothing to do with aliens, nothing to do with anything weird, all comes from the U.S. government. Not that I'm saying I don't trust the government. I don't. But, there's plenty of conspiracy theories surrounding the authenticity of the government when it comes to alien artifacts. Area 51 is, the biggest known thing of, hey, the government says this doesn't exist, but we don't actually know. We just have to take their word for it.
That was a little strange.
That was very weird. Government's listening to us.
I'm Mr. FBI guy.
So that is one of the biggest arguments for this conspiracy theory that this is actually an alien artifact, is that pretty much everybody that's refuting it is straight up from the government, except for this one ufologist who, the fact that I can't find anything saying exactly what he did to experiment on this thing and to analyze it is a little sketchy. Makes me wonder, did the government get to him and be like, hey, if you don't say you agree with us, then, something bad's going to happen. No, I'm not saying that our government would do that, but
Yes, he is.
And I found a episode of the show Ancient Aliens.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they did an episode on the Betz Sphere. It was in season 12. And they, according to them, when the x-rays were done, they found that there was magnetic poles, as well as they found that it was not actually hollow. It had that 1.5-inch steel shell, and inside there is another sphere made of an alloy that we cannot identify. Now, they don't really go into detail, from what I was able to find, about why we can't identify it. It very well could just be because it's inside this steel ball, and the Betz family refused to let anybody cut it open to find out. Or it could be that we just can't identify it because it's not from our Earth. Who knows?
So I've been waiting to do this. So what you're saying is aliens.
Aliens.
I don't have the hair.
I don't have the hair to do the craziness.
If it were longer, I just
crazy.
Yeah.
Aliens. Right, exactly. But I just find it very interesting that there's no real record that I can find of the experimentation. Everything I can find is just what the U.S. Navy rep told the newspaper and told the Betz family, which isn't overly surprising. You know how our government is. Most governments actually.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. But I mean, most governments, if they do experimentation on this kind of crap, they're not just going to release their notes to anybody. They generally keep the stuff classified for whatever reason. So I'm not overly surprised I can't find any real documentation from the U.S. Navy base that says, hey, this is what we found, this is what we think. I just find this whole theory interesting. Maybe it is something from another world. Who knows? There's crazy theories out there on what this thing is. Some people think it's part of a UFO that fell off. Some people think it's a satellite that's transmitting data back to its homeworld. I have even seen some theories that if you look at ancient paintings and ancient artwork of the sky battles from when the gods are fighting each other, quite often they are depicted as holding a sphere in their hand that they are either throwing or shooting things out of. And these spheres, coincidentally, look exactly like what this Betz sphere looks like.
So have they tried shooting things out of it?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been
microwave a steak from a distance.
Right. The interesting part to me is that Terry Betz, the whole thing's interesting, but I just find it very intriguing that Terry Betz, the son, says that the sphere reacted to certain musical notes being played from his guitar. Now, in all my research, I looked at probably a good 10 different sites, and I think 7 out of the 10 talked about Terry saying the guitar made it react. Not a single one of them was I able to find where it says any of these people that analyzed it, from the guy in Baton Rouge to the U.S. Navy, to the ufologists, none of them stated having tried to use musical tones to try to get this thing to react. So I find that very intriguing. If you have somebody that directly says, this is what made it happen, was this particular note on my guitar, why would that not be the first thing you try?
But like you said, the government didn't disclose what they tried,
Exactly.
so they may have
Right.
gotten results, just refused to say anything.
Exactly. And it's just, it all, I guess what I'm basically getting at is this ties directly into pretty much every other alien conspiracy about the government hiding things from us.
Yeah.
Again, not saying I necessarily believe it, not saying I don't. I just find the whole thing very interesting.
Well, I mean, when we finally get into Project Blue Book, I mean, look, they were supposed to have declassified the whole project, but if you actually download it and read it, so much of it is redacted that there are pages that just do not make any sense based on what's actually there that can be read.
Well, even Project Star Wars, they supposedly declassified all that. Good luck finding any real information about it beyond the basics of what the whole point of it was. But you won't find any real specifics about it.
Well, there's a guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He was in charge of the British government's investigations into UFOs. I mean, he was their guy for a while. And he has said that they covered up and discovered so much stuff that even when he talks about it, nobody will believe him. Because it sounds so outlandish.
I would love to be the government's guide to go investigate this stuff. Though I'd be very bad at it, because if I found proof that aliens existed, I would leak that in a heartbeat.
Well, that's what this guy's doing, but you've got these people going, he's nuts, he's a crackpot, when he was their guy to go investigate this shit.
Right.
So, I mean, then you're going to have the government going, well, we don't know what he's talking about, so.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the sphere in a nutshell. I have found conflicting reviews. Some people say that the Betz family still has it. Some people say it's in a museum somewhere. The most popular one is somewhere in Arizona. There's supposedly a museum that has a sphere. Some people say we don't know where it is. And the Betz family has not commented on this thing in almost 20 years.
Kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah. So part of me wonders, did the government, after they did their experimentation, did the government take it and store it and
lost it?
Right. Is this sphere sitting in Area 51 right now? If only we had actually, raided Area 51 like the internet wanted to do. Maybe we found out.
The rave was more important.
Fair enough. Hey, I mean, that one guy was determined to do it. He tried.
Yeah. If only they'd done the Naruto run, they'd have been set.
Exactly. But yeah, that's all I got on that sphere.
All right. Are you ready for UBV-76?
Oh, I am so ready for this. This is one I have never heard of.
Yes. Which is funny because, like you said, you've never heard of it, but this has been going on since like 1978.
Well, I mean, the sphere has been going on since 74.
Yeah.
70s were big for conspiracy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. This one, its nickname is the Buzzer because it's an AM. Well, first of all, let's say back in the 70s, you had CB, ham radio, basically that kind of experimentation, and it was a huge hobby. AM, was huge still, and that's what this is. It's an AM frequency. It broadcasts on. It broadcasts a short, monotonous buzz tone at 25 tones a minute. So it's like every couple seconds it'll generate a buzz and then stop. 24 hours a day. Like nonstop. Once in a while, though, it'll stop and a Russian voice will come out and start like broadcasting numbers. And then the tone will start again. So far, when it started, people were really confused. They knew it was Russian, but what the hell were the numbers? Were they planning an attack? This was, height of the Cold War, the 70s. Um, were they planning an attack? Were they coordinating their military? It scared a lot of people. Were they trying to communicate with the spies here in the U.S.? Were these secretly coded orders that, were going out and nobody could crack? There's some debate. A lot of people say it was 78. Some people say a little bit earlier. Some people say a little bit later. But basically, around 78, it started. From 78 to 2010, it went by UBV-76, which is what is commonly known as still, or, it's nicknamed the buzzer. In 2010, it was moved and started going by MDZ-HB. It moved again in 2015 and started going by ZHUOZ, which they pronounced Xenia, Uliana, Olga, Zenaida, which, if anybody knows their military stuff, you always take the first letter of, a word and slap something else down in place of it, Foxtrot, Tango, that kind of thing. And then in 2019, it changed call signs again and primarily goes by ANVF. Now, there is a short clip of this on Wikipedia of the sound it uses that I'm hoping I'm going to be able to share. Let's see here. If this works, I don't know if it will. Can you hear that? No? Basically, it's just it's literally what it sounds like. It's just a buzz. It's a weird buzzing sound.
I think.
Huh?
I think I hear something now. Are you still playing it?
No, that might be my wife in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on the Wikipedia page. You can go to it. You can hear it. It's a very weird sound. Oh, you know what? Hang on. There's a video right here on YouTube. That this worked yesterday. So I will do that. Share screen. And this is a lot of what people hear. They'll hear the tone, and they'll hear people in the background talking.
It doesn't sound like anything's coming through. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very weird. But this is what has been going on since the 70s, is people have been hearing the tone. Sometimes they'll hear people talking back and forth. I can stop sharing that now, I guess. Once in a while, like I said, it'll stop and they'll leave long messages. Like this one says, yeah, UBV-76. Yeah, UBV-76. 180 08 Bromo 74 27 99 14. Boris, Roman, Olga, Mikhail, Anna, Larissa 7 4 2 7 9 9 1 4. Which doesn't make any sense to me. It probably wouldn't to most people, but a lot of people figure this is some kind of military code that the Russians are using.
Right.
Sometimes, at one point, I can't remember. It's 2016. The code stopped, and what could be heard was somebody banging, and the buzzer would go every time he would bang. So, or this person would bang, so it makes people think that it's just an automated buzz signal, which would make sense because who would want to sit there and do that 24/7? But it leads people to believe that there's somebody always in the broadcast station,
Right.
making sure that it happens. There's been conversations. There was a woman was heard talking in the background. It's always just faint enough that can't be made out what it is people are saying, but you can hear it. So people know it's a live station. It's not something somebody recorded and just left, especially if somebody's banging on it to make it work.
Right.
In 2010, the voice activity on the station actually increased, which was actually really rare up until that point. In 2010, the voice activity increased, which led to more people listening, which led to more people hearing people in the background. Because this is one of those things that's really huge on message platforms like 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
They're really into it, and a lot of them have been listening. In October of 2016, they broadcast 18 different messages in less than 24 hours, which was really unheard of up until then. At one point in 2012, there were 4 broadcasts, which again, it was thought to be extremely rare. You can go on Wikipedia, you could see all the numbers and letters, and it's all, like I said, it's all just a jumble. It's like VZHTSKH and stuff. It's to me, it just seems like a random bunch of stuff. But I'm guessing if you know whatever code it is, or if it's a code that they're using.
Right.
But a lot of people, there's speculation that it's just somebody goofing off. And there's speculation it's the military. There's more and more evidence that it is the Russian military. But what they're doing it for, the buzz tone is actually speculated to be some kind of noise generator placed near a live mic, which is why you can hear people in the background. Yeah, it's not broadcast directly from whatever is making the tone. It's just there in front of the mic, which
interesting.
It seems really primitive way to do it. You would think if it were a military operation, they would just broadcast it from whatever is making that noise, so nothing gets heard in the background.
Right. Unless it's meant to be like a deflection, then they can be like, "Hey, no, we're not doing anything. Why would we do something like that? That's dumb."
Yeah, but at one point, well, there's that, but there's also the theory that sometimes the voices are heard because a mic gets left on accidentally.
Right.
And November 3rd of 2001, there was a conversation heard that said, "I am 143, not receiving the generator. That stuff comes from hardware room." Yeah. There was another one in November 11th, 2010, where a phone call was heard that mentioned brigade operative officer on duty, communication codes debut, the Russian word for hope, a Russian alternative for the name Xander. It is also a town in Crimea, and a mention of a volcano. What it was basically is officer of the duty station debut, ensign, and I'm not even going to try pronouncing this. It's just a name, and received a test call from Nadezhda, understood. Which only goes to strengthen that this is some sort of military broadcast. Why they would broadcast on an FM frequency that anybody with a strong enough receiver could pick up confuses me.
Yeah, it is a little odd.
Why not use something encrypted? And why keep doing it if you know people are able to hear it? I mean, this has been picked up since the 70s.
Right. I mean, well, at this point, it could just be they are doing it, still doing it, just because of the fact that, people don't know what it is, don't know what's going on. I don't know why my camera's not focusing on me. There we go. That was weird. But, yeah, that's weird.
But there is former Minister of Communications and Informatics of the Republic of Lithuania wrote, the point of the voice messages is to confirm that operators at receiving stations are alert. But that doesn't figure into saying, hey, yeah, there's this guy who's, this commander is there, or, I'm not getting this stuff. That's at the warehouse. If all you're doing is saying, hey, are you alert? Why would you be talking about warehouses? Why would you be talking about who's on duty? Right. Yep. There's speculation. There's military communications. There's also speculation it could be a number of stations that the former KGB are using. There's a speculation that the buzzing sound is a channel marker to keep the frequency occupied until the military actually wants to use it. Right. Kind of like our government only allows certain frequencies for civilian radio. Right. So they've got the rest of the band to themselves. That's what they figure this is. It's being used. It's being occupied with this dead noise, so nobody tries to use it. In case the government decides, hey, we're going to use it for something. Right. Well, it's interesting, to say the least. There's also this was a theory from a BBC article that said that the tower is connected to the Russian perimeter missile system and emits a dead hand signal that will trigger a nuclear retaliatory response if the signal is interrupted as a result of attack against Russia. Interesting. But the problem with that is it has gone down. If that were the case, it seems like they would have the nukes would have launched, unless they've disabled that while they knew the signal was going to go down for maintenance or whatever it's going down. Right. If that's the case, if that's even a possibility, that's scary, because what happens if it just loses power and any generators fail to kick in? Right. Then we're all dead. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, there are two other Russian stations that follow the same sort of thing. One is nicknamed the Pip, and the other is the Squeaky Wheel. They got some weird names for these things. Well, it's based on the sounds, like the repeating sounds that they use. They did find the transmitter of where it was at one point. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, it's urban explorers claim to have found it, and they're saying it looks to have been in an abandoned military base. But if you're looking to make a name for yourself and you want some fame and recognition, what better way than to say, hey, we found the origin of this mysterious signal that people have listened to for decades. We found it, and here's what it is. You got to take that one with a grain of salt. Unless they've got video proof and they can say, this is what it is, without question. Here's the proof. We're in this military base. Here's all this evidence laying around saying this is exactly what was going on here. I don't know. Right. But the theory is that the reason it was moved was done during the military's reorganization back in the 2000s,
Mhm.
which leads, again, it sort of lends a little bit of evidence to these urban explorers, but at the same time, it's like these people that claim to have been abducted by aliens. Okay, I want to believe them, but I'm the type that needs to see the proof before I'm willing to dive in and go, okay, hey, maybe there's something to it.
Right.
There was an article I read that claims there was a video or a photo, I can't remember off the top of my head which it was, that is supposed to show a broadcast station and a poster, and there was some mention of UVB 74,
Mhm.
leading them to think that, okay, they did find it. It was a military installation. This is all military. But again, if it is military, why do it over an AM station? What's the point of the continued buzzing sound?
Right.
What are all the random numbers and letters? And it's definitely Russian. There's no doubt about that, because there's a theory that the reason it gets over here is it broadcasts at a frequency that happens to bounce off the Earth's ionosphere and comes back down. And that's why we're able to pick it up. But if that's the case, again, why broadcast on something that everybody knows and can hear?
Right.
Which is part of the huge mystery. If this is military and every sign points to it being military, what's the point of it? Why are they making sure everybody can hear it? And why are they letting people talk over it in the background where things
Right.
can be heard? That seems like the easiest way for a military secret to slip out right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, hot mic, we're going to just start talking about warehouses and what we've got in them.
Right.
Who's on command?
And you think that they would immediately put that to stop? Like, as soon as it happened the first time, they'd be like, "Hey, make sure you're checking, make sure the mic's off."
Yeah. I mean, our military is notorious for cracking down on that shit. The KGB back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s were not people to fuck with. I mean, they were notorious for making people disappear quickly. Like you said, why would they not go, hey, we heard, cut it out. We want to make sure nothing like this ever happens again.
Right.
But that's not the case. People are constantly heard talking over it now. And why not update the technology? Why keep broadcasting over AM? Why a noise generator in front of a microphone?
Right. Yeah, that's weird.
Why not just have a computer system just making the sound and have it broadcast out that way, so you don't have to have the mic broadcasting? I mean, you don't even have to have the machine hooked to the internet in any way for that to happen.
Right.
So you haven't got to worry about a hack. You just set the machine up and broadcast over the radio. It's very weird. And that's what's weird is we know what it is, but there are so many questions coming from what we know that it just makes the mystery even weirder.
Yeah.
My only guess is it's some sort of, like they said, I don't know if it's to see who's alert, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. So much as if it's just, hey, we're checking in. We're okay. Maybe check back in. Maybe it's just an outpost going, hey, we're still alive out here in Siberia.
Right. Well, it's interesting to me that you said one of the conversations that was heard was that a guy saying I'm 143, yada yada yada. The question is that his call sign, or is that the outpost call sign, or is he saying he's 143 years old?
Yeah, it's very weird. I'm 143. I noticed that too, and it was like, I know different cultures phrase things in a different way. When I first read that, I was like 140. This dude's 143, because that's when somebody asks your age, you say I am 100. I am, whatever your age is. Anytime I've heard a call sign, it always is this is, not I am. This is Goose. Yes, right. I did a Top Gun reference, but I don't care. It's just, and why would you broadcast your call sign over something everybody could hear?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. That's just the whole thing is just weird. Like, none of it makes sense.
It doesn't. And the thing is, the buzz tone, like I said, you heard it. It over the years, it has changed. It's gotten deeper. Sometimes it gets a little bit higher pitched. Sometimes it changes in length. Sometimes it's a different frequency altogether.
Right. Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna try to find it and have it running for a while just to listen to it, see what happens.
It really is it's very weird. I mean, there's other videos. Let me play another one. This one was from 82. As soon as the ad finishes.
Damn ads.
This is a good one.
Yeah, nothing's coming through on that one.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
It sounds, like you're watching a movie with submarines in it. You hear like that ping.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it sounds like. How about this one?
Mm-mm.
It sounds like that. It sounds like that sonar ping without like the echo behind it.
Interesting.
But in the background of this one, it almost sounds like Morse code being tapped out. It's very weird. You can hear like this beep, beep, but it sounds like in the background somebody's tapping out a Morse code on like the old telegraph wires.
Hmm. Yeah, I just pulled it up on my computer.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It just makes so many more questions than there are answers.
Oh yeah. But I mean, that is the purpose of the show.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where we always ask, do I believe in it? I don't have a choice to believe in it. I have to believe in it because it's there.
Right.
There's evidence of it. It's been going on since the 70s. But the purpose of it, I have no idea. Do I believe it's a dead man's hand to prevent Russia from being attacked? I don't think so, because that seems highly reckless.
Right.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would set a situation up like that where they could accidentally be launched. I mean, if they were, let's say somebody decides to go rogue and just end the signal. That would be nukes launched everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems stupid reckless, and I can't picture that being a scenario.
Yeah, no, I find that one hard to believe.
Is it possible it's to see if radio operators are paying attention? Yeah, but again, why launch random numbers and letters?
Yeah, that's...
It could be code, but why not just say, hey, are you awake? Is it military orders telling them what they want them to do? Possibly. I don't know what it is. I have no explanation.
Yeah, no, that's very weird.
Yeah. And this is why, since I've first heard of it as a kid, it's been something I've been like, I need an answer. This is driving me nuts. Why would you set up a radio station that just broadcasts a buzzing tone and then randomly pop in and go VZ9682, wait a second, and then another string of random gibberish and then back to the tone?
Right. Yeah, no, that's so weird.
Yeah. Is it a placeholder for the government to use that frequency if they decide to? It's possible. But why would the military be on there talking about warehouses? Why would they be broadcasting anything on it other than that tone?
Yeah. Yeah. Why the numbers? Like it makes no sense. If it's just a placeholder, then you don't.
Why would a guy come out giving his call sign?
Right. Why would you have anything on there as far as like the talking? Like, why would the random numbers be thrown out there?
So I don't buy that it's a placeholder. That's the one theory I can't buy into that. I can't buy into the dead man's switch. I can't.
No.
They don't make sense.
Nope. Those don't sit well with me. And I can't get behind those ones. That doesn't make any sense.
We know it's not aliens.
This is true. Unless the aliens somehow speak Russian.
Ooh, Russian aliens.
Well,
I mean, there is a theory the Russians have aliens just like we do. So,
mm-hmm.
But again, if you're alien, why would you use AM radio?
Right. Oh, everybody on Earth can hear this? Yeah, let's use it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I keep saying it. I don't understand why keep using the same. Why use AM?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Especially now that there's the internet, you can't encrypt and send out that way.
Right.
You're going to rely on the old AM. Unless they figure at this point now people have the satellite radio, so they're not going to be tuning their radios into something as archaic as AM.
Right.
But they're, like I said, all of 4chan, there's this whole board in 4chan dedicated to this.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna probably end up trying to find it and just listen to it for a while, just to see how quickly I go mad.
Tell me what you are. What is your purpose?
Give me your secrets.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, you could probably go right online and find a live broadcast of them.
Yeah, sure you can. Probably right on YouTube.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Now that YouTube does live stuff.
Let me see. Wonder if I can find it.
If you can, that's a conspiracy in and of itself.
Right? Like, why would they let that happen?
Maybe. What the heck is going on with my camera?
Live stream, yeah.
Maybe the signal's coming from the Betz Sphere.
UBV-76.net.
Yeah, maybe it's coming straight from the Betz Sphere.
Maybe that is why it reacts to music.
Yeah.
It longs to be something more. But that would imply that the sphere was made by aliens that know Russian.
Or it was made by Russians.
That was something that I thought of when you were talking about it being a valve,
Mm-hmm.
like the ball out of a check valve. It was found in Florida, right?
Yeah,
A lot of shit washes up in Florida.
it's true.
Who says it was manufactured anywhere in Florida or even the United States?
Right.
And if it's hollow, I'm not saying it's going to float because it's so damn heavy, but it's going to be slightly buoyant anyway at a certain point in the ocean.
Right.
So who's to say it's not a valve made somewhere else that just happened to wash up on shore? And this guy happened to pick. Did it say where he was picking them up from?
Not that I could find, no.
Well, there you go. Maybe you just happened to find them washed up somewhere. I can hear that in the background.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. Be a great way to drive somebody slowly nuts, just the same tone over and over again.
Right.
Hey, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're trying to drive.
Yeah, I mean,
People
who knows?
insane.
It could be some kind of psychological, experiment or something. Who knows? Oh, I turned it off and I still hear it in my head. That's it. Russians took me over. I'm now a sleeper agent.
Uh-oh. Maybe that's what
For legal purposes, Mr. FBI man, I am not a Russian sleeper agent. Okay?
Maybe that's what the numbers are to make sure your trigger word doesn't activate until they're ready.
Maybe. Oh.
It's weird. Especially that one where it sounded like Morse code being done in the background.
Yeah.
But again, why use Morse code?
So archaic.
Unless that would be the intention.
Mm.
This is so old, who would expect it to be?
I mean, look at World War II. World War II used what was it, the Navajo?
Yeah.
They used it in Indian language to communicate because it was an archaic way that not any of their enemies would really be able to crack very easily.
Yeah. I guess if you wanted to hide government secrets, the best way to do it would be right under people's noses.
Mm-hmm. Or in their homes, in the case of a sphere.
Oh, listen to us. We're crafting our own conspiracy theories right here about these conspiracy theories.
You heard it first.
It's my theory. I claim it.
Oh, it's on the internet now. So if in like a
It's
couple
out there,
weeks we
yeah.
see it, floating around the internet, we know where it came from.
I don't know.
I already know those people are crackpots because we just made it up.
I've got to believe in the signal, whether I like it or not. The sphere.
Well, I mean, the signal and the sphere, both of them, they in fact exist.
Yeah.
We can tell they exist.
What they are, though, I don't know. The sphere, I don't know. I'd like to lean towards it just being the, part of a ball valve. Because that's the only thing that seems to make sense. But why would it react to music?
Yeah.
If it did, we have the one guy's word that it reacted to music.
Right.
And they're the same guys that rejected the government's theories and took it to the ufologists. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm open to more evidence on that one.
Yeah, my biggest thing with that one is I cannot find any concrete answer as to what happened to it after all these people examined it. Where did it go? Does the family still have it? Is it in that museum in, Arizona? Does the U.S. government have it? Did the family just finally give up and you know what, screw it and just throw it out?
It's very strange that they went silent on it after all the attention that they were trying to get to figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that we're talking about aliens yet, but it seems to go back to the Men in Black type. Well, we're not allowed to talk. Somebody came and told us we have to be quiet.
Right. The other thing is, if this guy, this artist, was picking these things up for his sculpture,
Where are they?
Where are they? Yeah, where are the ones that he kept?
I
Because he
was
said a
wondering
few of
that.
them fell off. Not all of them. So where
Yeah.
are the rest of them? What did he do
And
with
what did
them?
he do with them? He had to have done something with them.
Yeah. Are they reacting to music? Like,
It just that seemed like a really bizarre story that he was just like, oh yeah, I found a bunch of them.
yeah. Like, where did you find them?
Yeah, where did they go? If you have a bunch of them, come forward with it.
Right.
Or if they're part of a sculpture somewhere, where is it? Who has it?
Right. You know, it just something doesn't sit right with me. So, I mean, perhaps it's possible.
That is true. And that is the end of that.